When you not perform, but when you record a song, do you visualize it?
It's interesting. I think now, because I'm working on my 6th album, do you really see sort of the process? You know, it's so crazy. I never really appreciated the year. It takes a year. For me, you know, I work on an album, we promote it, we put it out, then you tour it. That whole year, though, I don't understand the music until the year. It's weird. Like, it's not until you kind of go back to it and you're like, that was it was even a better idea than I thought. I mean, it's nuts. And then you perform it and then it takes this whole other life on, you know, or for you, people see it. And it's like you said, it's not so much about their critique of it, but it's just how people ingest it, how they digest what you've done. Then it's almost feels like it's out of your hands at that point. You know what I mean? Like, once you create something, you do it. Once you present it, it takes this whole thing on, and you can't really control it at that point. You have to kind of go with it. You have to go with the life of it, you know? I mean, if you look back from the beginning, though, do you feel like this is where you always knew you would be, or do you feel like it happened to you?
It happened to me. I mean, I got lucky. I just got really lucky. Because I was going to do, like, business at school, at college, and I went to halls of residence to do my first year, and there were all art students in the halls of residence apart from me, and I just got dropped in.
That's funny.
And I was going out with this kind of girl who was a fashion designer, and I loved her and I loved her world, and suddenly I was dropped in with all these art kids, and I had my parents are very strange in that they were very strange in that they didn't have a record player, they didn't have a cassette player. You know, we had nothing in the house. So the only music that I got to listen to till I was about 14 was on the radio. And then when I was 14, they bought me a cassette player, and I was recording stuff off the radio. So, and culturally, they were very working class. So I got no art culture at all. And then at 19, suddenly, boom, dropped in with all these people. And it was, I mean, it was like waking up. It was mad.
I love that. It
was amazing, but it definitely makes me more kind of, I don't know, I guess I don't have those references that a lot of people have. I've kind of learnt them myself. So that for me was, that kind of growing up in that atmosphere was very unusual, because it made me quite kind of independent and individual, but very, very very closeted, very kind of like, I always say my parents brought me up in cotton wool, you know, like with very few influences.
That's how I felt, honestly.
And then suddenly, boom, and it was really amazing to get all that stuff, like, at one time.
It's funny, I was thinking about it, and I'm like, I've actually never recorded an album in New York. I've, like, kind of worked and touched things up, but I've never recorded an album in New York.
Right.
I've recorded in London, which I find a little hard also.
Well, London and New York are party towns.
It's similar, and it's just, there's too much. I'm like, there's so much going on. It's funny, when I first started coming out to LA, I remember being like, oh my God, I feel like just the fact that the buildings aren't hovering over me, I actually have like a clearer mind. Yeah. You know, here I can be outside, and I can think, and I can write, and I can, you know, I'm not able to do that in New York.
They say that people that have been born by the sea have a very open attitude to life, because they can see the horizon, so they think about things in a different way. And if you've been born by the sea, then you have that perspective. True. I have to be somewhere, like in my building, I can see kind of almost like this, you know, so.
Yeah, no, it's important. I definitely think surroundings matter, 1000%.